Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another chat video. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Kristi. I am currently following the WW Blue program, but on my channel I do provide the points for all three programs and I also share calories as well. However, my chat videos, it's just kind of my week to sit down, talk, chat with everybody, let you know what's going on, and just kind of catch up. So I do want to let you know ahead of time that I kind of end up all over. I really don't go into this with any type of script or anything, and today's video is going to be a little bit different than I normally do for my chats. So it's actually been a couple weeks, I think, since I've done a chat. I don't even remember where I left off. So I think the last time I chatted was about our crazy event that we had at work and how crazy busy we were. We're still 2 weeks later trying to get caught up on all of that. So it has definitely been very stressful, but there have been so many things that have happened in the last couple weeks. So as you may have seen last weekend, my daughter came for the weekend. Thank you all so much for all your kind words. She was reading through all your comments, and she really appreciates all of you, for all the well wishes. She's just doing so good and we're so proud of her. I also had a couple other things that were happy, positive things that happened, and I'll be sharing those in a future video. I'm putting videos together about that. However, with all the happiness and everything and the busyness and all that also comes sadness. So if you follow me on social media, if you don't follow me on social media, follow me on Instagram or Facebook at planningushealthy, and you can keep up to date with me on things that I don't actually vlog or video. But if you follow me on there, you will have seen that we did lose our 12-year-old little chihuahua, Scooby. I've tried to do this video several times and couldn't make it through it, so I'm really hopeful that I will get through it today. I'm actually on my lunch break. I'm teleworking right now and I'm on my lunch break, so I've had a decent day today, not as many tears as I have. So before I go any further about this, I do want to mention that this next part is going to be really sad about the loss of my dog. So if this is not something that you want to watch, please feel free to fast forward through this. And actually, I'll try and remember to put timestamps in the video so you can kind of fast forward if this is not something that you want to hear or watch. But yeah, Scooby, it was our little chihuahua, and you all didn't really see him a whole lot in my videos, mainly because he was a mama's boy. So usually he was all up on me. And so when I had the camera, you'd see him like kind of walking around different areas. But for the most part, you would see a lot of Molly because she would be out in the yard playing. And so I would capture her. Scooby was more kind of followed me around. He was not just a mama's boy. He was everybody's boy. He was the most lovable chihuahua I've ever had the experience of knowing. They think that he's 12 years old. My daughter actually found him and brought him home 8 years ago. And at the time, they assumed that he was around 4 years old. So that's why we say that he's 12. Our other dog, Molly, is 12. She turned 12 in February. And I feel like Scooby was a lot older than her just by the way that they act. Like Scooby really didn't have any interest in playing with toys and things like that. He was more about just kind of chilling or eating. That was pretty much his. Molly loves to play, so she just seems more of I don't know, like a child, like she has more childlike things, but it may just be Scooby's temperament. That may have just been what it was. But we've been seeing some signs of aging over the last couple months. And in fact, my husband has been telling me the last couple months, you need to prepare yourself. He's getting older. The day before he passed, he was outside playing. He was, running through the yard, barking at people that were walking by. And he just seemed like he was getting older. When we got Scooby, he had heartworm. We took him, the minute we found him, we took him and to see if he had like a chip in him, which he didn't, and then we ended up getting him chipped. But when we had them run all the tests and everything and found out he had heartworm. So of course I wasn't going to just abandon him because he had heartworm. So we paid to, have him treated, and he overcame the heartworm. And a year later, he did test negative for it. But because we don't know how long he had a heartworm before we got him, they said that it could have done damage to his heart. But unless they were to put him through all these tests, which we felt were unnecessary, then they really wouldn't know the damage that was done. Like I said, the day before he went, he was okay. But the strangest thing is, I mentioned to you that my daughter's the one that brought him home. So she and I were talking on the phone, and if you watched the weekend vlog video, you saw her mention about how she's doing and everything, and that she got off probation. The judge granted her motion because she's done so well. And so it was strange because we were on the phone Saturday, and she's like, you know what? I'm going to come home. I'm like, what do you mean you're going to come home? She's like, yeah, I'm going to get in the car. I'm going to drive the hour and I'm going to come home and stay the night. And I'm like, why? She's like, because I can. So she lives in another county than us. So previously she would have to get permission from her probation officer to be able to come home for even a, an overnight visit. So now she didn't have to. She's like, I'm just going to come home for the night. So she came home, and then that night was when Scooby started to kind of show some signs. We have really bad pollen here in Florida right now, and so sometimes he'll have, like, they call it inverted sneezes. It's kind of where he makes noises like when he's breathing, and so sometimes the pollen can get to him. But that night we noticed that his breathing seemed to be different, and he was kind of taking a little bit deeper breaths. And so we kind of watched him, and then it got time. My daughter was going to go to bed. Normally my dogs sleep in their dog bed. If you saw the weekend vlog, in the living room there's a bed, and in the weekend vlog Scooby's on it in the living room. And normally they sleep on that, but when my daughter is home, they sleep with her. So Molly, because Molly is Caitlin's dog, Molly sleeps with her, and of course Caitlin lets Scooby sleep with her as well. Molly and Scooby are like inseparable. And so that night he seemed to calm down, and Caitlin said during the night she got up one time and she went in the kitchen to get something, and she came back and he was on the edge of the bed wagging his tail, like thinking she had a treat for him or something. And then about 7:30 in the morning, I woke up because he was barking. And so I thought, oh, he's got to go out, because the bed that she sleeps on is really high and he can't jump off of it. So I went in there and, I said, you got to go out. So I put him on the floor, and he walked to the door and went outside. And when he went outside, he was just acting very strange, and he acted like he wanted to come back in. And then when he came back in, he was taking really hard breaths, and it was definitely not normal. And so I had to call around because our vet was closed. This was on Sunday. And so I found an animal hospital that was about 20 minutes away. And I called them, and they said, yes, they could see him, bring him right in. And so we got ready to go, and all of a sudden he couldn't stand anymore. He was standing on the floor, and then he just kind of laid down on the floor. And so my daughter picked him up. We headed out. My husband was going to drive. Me and my daughter were going in the back seat. I came in to get something from the house, and I heard my daughter screaming. She's like, we're losing him. So I went out there, and it looked like he was starting to take his last breath. So we just kept telling him to hang on until we get, a little bit further. And he ended up passing away in my daughter's arms on the way to the vet. So when we got there, we had them bring him in and see if he had a heart rate or not, and he didn't. So Mr. Scooby passed on, and it's been very difficult. I never realized it would be this hard. Just never realized. This is the first dog that we've lost, and I just never realized it would be this hard. So we're trying to move on and deal with it and just remember the happy times. But of course you play the blame game, and was there something different we could have done and things like that. But we just have to be thankful for the time we had with him. We have to be thankful that he didn't suffer. And but the hardest part now is watching Molly. She's looking for him, and we brought his blanket home from the animal hospital. We had him wrapped in his blanket. It's his blue blanket that he always had. And we came home with just the blanket, and Molly sniffed it. I'll put some pictures up with my daughter and Molly, and she sniffed it, and then she just laid her head on it. And then now she just lays on the bed and lays on his blanket, and she just mopes around and looks for him. She is eating and everything, and so we're really trying to make sure we keep her as stimulated as possible. We keep her exercising. We keep, the cuddles with her, let her know it's going to be okay. But it's really hard when you have another dog. I think that's the hardest part right now for my husband and I, is to see her like that. So I didn't mean for this video to be like this, but I just wanted you all to understand where I'm coming from for the last couple weeks. I've just had so many happy things going on and then sad things, and it's just been a roller coaster of emotions. I had mentioned to a lot of you that my ulcerative colitis had come out of remission a few weeks ago. So I was just really trying to focus on getting that back in remission. And then when this happened with Scooby, it's kind of like, woo, that was just, that put like that just fueled the fire. I mean, it fueled it. And so it's going to be a rough week. We should get his remains and his urn the end of the week probably. So we're going to have another few rough days ahead of us, but it will be good to have him home. And even though it's not the way we want him home, but that'll be good. And I think that I'll be able to move forward once that happens. So I don't mean to be the bearer of sad news. You all know, if you watch my videos, I try to be as motivating as possible, but I think it's important for me to get on here and share these times. It's reality, and I just want to share with you. You all know I want to be as transparent as possible with all of you. We all have obstacles that we face, and sometimes it's, you know, we have to remember that sometimes stress is good stress too. So these last couple weeks, I've had some good things. I've had some sad things happen. Some things I haven't shared with you yet on the good things, which I will, I promise. Those will be in future videos, probably within the next couple weeks. But just a roller coaster of emotions, and whether it's good stress or bad stress, it's still stress on your body. So we just have to recognize those signs and do the best that we can to move through those. So needless to say, my sleep has not been the greatest. I am still getting about 7 hours of sleep though, so that's still better than how I was before, but my steps are not there. I mean, I had some days where I didn't even have 5,000. So I'm going to be motivated this next week to really get back into my steps. So meal prep review, there is not a meal prep review because I didn't meal prep this weekend since Scooby passed on Sunday. So we've just been kind of just throwing together whatever we can feel like eating at any given moment. But this weekend I plan on doing a meal prep. I have a lot going on this weekend, so I'm probably just going to do like a breakfast and lunch meal prep and not any dinner kits. And I think what I'm going to do is pretty much the same thing I had on my meal plan that I planned on doing this week. So I was going to do a St. Patty's Day pancake bake. I think I'm just going to kind of turn it into an Easter pancake bake. I'm still going to use those marshmallows, and they're going to be Easter colors instead of St. Patty's Day. And I just won't use the green food coloring in them. And then for the lunches, I'm still going to plan on doing the little mini shepherd's pies. Even though that was going to be kind of like a St. Patty's Day lunch, that can really still be any lunch. So I'm still going to plan on doing the pancake bake and the shepherd's pie. For meal prep, I'll just do it this weekend. And then, like I said, it'll probably be a quick meal prep. I won't have dinner kits or anything like that. We'll keep it quick. So that's my plan. So I probably won't have a meal plan and grocery haul video that comes out this week, just because my meal plan will be very similar to the one that I just put up. So I don't want to bore you with that. So no weigh-in to share with you this week. Y'all know that I really have kind of put my scale away for now anyway. I'm really trying to work on the healthy habits, which these last 2 weeks, the healthy habits haven't been the greatest. But eating-wise has not been real bad. All right, my mic had fallen down, so hopefully you heard me through all that. So again, thank you all so much for your condolences, and I hope that my next chat video will be a little bit more motivating and not so sad. But I really appreciate all of your well wishes. I appreciate your friendship, and appreciate just being able to get on here and be myself. So thank you all so much for watching. If you're new, I hope you'll subscribe. I'll talk to you in my next video. I'm Kristi, and I'm Planning Us Healthy.